Good morning, children. This session is dedicated to class 10 board exams, and we are going to discuss board questions mixed bag. The very first question, that is from literature, is why did Valley refuse to look out of the window on her way back? Valley refused to look back out of the window because she had seen a cow lying dead. Actually, there was a lot of blood sprayed near the cow, dead cow. Moreover, she had seen the same cow, while she was going to the town, and when she came back, she saw the same cow lying dead. Perhaps the cow was, killed by a running vehicle. So, having seen the pathetic condition of the cow, she felt quite horrified and decided not to look out of the window. Second question, why did Chibuko suspect Lomo when he comes to his house? Lomo is in habit of borrowing one thing or the other from Chibuko's house. So whenever Lomo visits Chibuko's house, he is suspected to be in the mood of borrowing something from Chibuko. That's the reason why Chibuko suspects him when he comes to his house, that certainly he would demand something and he would borrow something from him. And that is the reason why whenever Lumo comes to Chibuko's house, Chibuko suspects certainly about his borrowing, because his act of borrowing one thing or the other has become a common habit. Next question. Why did the woman in the control room look at pilot of Dakota DS-088 strangely? The woman in the control room looked at the pilot of Dakota DS-088 strangely because there was no flight on the saddle, and therefore she was quite surprised to see the pilot there, because she hadn't got any information about the flight, nor there was any schedule there on her list. That is the reason why she was quite surprised to see the pilot of the Dakota 088, and she just looked at the pilot quite strangely. It appeared as if she had seen something very strange. Next question. Why did Hari Singh, the thief, want to become an educated person? Hari Singh is quite tempted to learn something from, the teacher, the person who is his host. Actually, he wants to learn something and get educated, because he believes that he would receive, and he would receive all his achievements if he became educated. He would be a successful person if he became educated. Secondly, he would regain respect, because now as a thief he had lost respect. So he believes that having been educated, he might regain his respect in the society. Moreover, his achievement would never end. He would keep achieving one thing or the other after having been educated. So this idea prompted him to get educated. Next question. What did Ibrahim do when he was a child? Ibrahim, as a child, was a very curious child. He often remained busy collecting butterflies with determination. He also collected rocks, fossils, and coins. When he was in the kindergarten, he often got engrossed in collecting different types of fossils and rocks. He was very eager as a child astronomer, and looked at the sky, gazing at the stars constantly. This clearly suggests that from the very childhood he was a curious scientist. He behaved like a child scientist right from an early stage of his schooling. Next question. What did yes Kisha Gautami again goes from house to house after she speaks with the Buddha. What did she realize? She realized that there was no house in the entire village where no death had occurred. So she came to know the reality that death is the reality of life, and there is no such home in her neighborhood where no death had occurred. Therefore, she consoled her, grief, by coming to realize that death is the bitter reality of life. Anyone who is born is supposed to die at the end of his age, and so there is nothing to be, grieved at. When somebody dies, there is nothing to be grieved at, because death is the bitter reality of life. She went from door to door asking for mustard seeds from that very house where no death had occurred. But unfortunately, there was no such house where no death had occurred. This clearly suggests that life and death are two bitter reality, and they cannot be isolated from each other. If a person is born, he is supposed to die sooner or later, or after completing his age. So, death is the bitter reality of life. That was what Gautami came to realize. And she also came to understand the mystery behind any, death. That whatever may be the grief of separation of our beloved one, but the truth is that we are also in this series of the persons who lose some beloved ones. Nobody can really be away from grief of separation. Life and death are the two events which really counts a lot, and at the end of life, everybody has to come to the heaven, the heavenly abode, where we have to just leave behind this world and go to an immortal world. And this is the last question. What experiments and projects did Ebright undertake? Ebright decided to do a real experiment. He tried to find out the cause of viral disease that killed all the caterpillars every 5 years. Then he began his experiment and research in discovering an unknown insect, that was monarch butterfly. So that is how his experiment became successful. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.